Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Y'all know who I is, the good doc, Dr. Mike, back again, once again, with just a question, man. I've been thinking long and hard about this question, and I have to ask, man. I'm asking you guys. All right, I'm asking you guys a real question. Do you guys think that I can still be for my own community, still be behind and back and support my own community, even though I'm currently in an interracial relationship, and even though I do have a tendency to like and date Asian women? I have to know this question. It's been killing me inside because I've heard some people say, yeah, you can be for the community. I've heard some people say, no, you can't be for the community. And by the community, I mean the black community. Can I still be for my own community, even though I choose to interracially date? Now, I ask this question simply because I've heard the debate. And honestly, I still back my community 100%. But the problem is, a lot of people think that just because I date outside of my own race or I haven't been in a relationship with a black woman in a long time, that I can no longer be for my community. But I want you to understand one key fact. Never in my life have I ever given up on dating any woman of any race. I've never specifically said I'm dating this woman or this type of women and this type of women only. But a lot of people think that just because you choose to date Asian women, that that is particularly your choice and your only choice. Um, and I find that to be extremely false and disheartening. You understand? I find it to be really disheartening. You see, I'm not going to sit there and say pro-black because that's kind of not what I'm going for. But I want to know, do you think that I can personally be for my own community even though I choose to interracially date? Some people would be like, oh, you don't like black women, or oh, you just this, or oh, you just that. But that is completely false. Never once in my lifetime have I ever said, F the community, man, I'm not for that shit. Granted, there are some things that I agree with and some things I highly disagree with. But I want you guys to understand what is true to life in reference to the good doc, Dr. Mike TV. I moved to the Philippines when I was 18 years old. That was fresh out of high school. The majority of my dating experience has come from my time in the Philippines, okay? So, in reference, you can honestly say that I am a product of my environment. You live in a country or a place for 10 years, don't you think it's highly likely that you're going to adapt well enough to be able to just date the women that are around you or to date the women that you actually have access to? That's how I see my situation. Now, for the guys who choose to date overseas and date abroad because of things that have happened with them in current relationships and shit, with women in the West, not specifically just African American women, but, women in the West, period, and they choose to date overseas because they just don't like women in the West, that's a completely different story. And that story just doesn't seem to be my narrative. But what I do find to be absolutely interesting in this entire topic of conversation, and I'm gonna leave it with this before I go on about my business. One thing that I found to be extremely interesting is how the white guys don't get this type of hate. They don't get this type of shade. When they date outside of white women, nobody seems to give a fuck. If they date Asian women, nobody seems to care. Maybe there's a difference if they swirl a little bit and they choose to date African American women or black women or African women too. But it's very rare that they get any hate or shame from their own people when they choose to date outside of their own race. It seems to be something that only happens to us. Never understood it, ladies and gentlemen, but the doc is just here to ask one question. Can I still be for my community, even though I am currently in an interracial relationship? Y'all let me know in the comment section below, because I want to know what you guys have to say. Let me know your opinion. The good doc is out. Y'all stay blessed, all right? Peace.